Imagine two 15-year-olds whose hormones are calling the shots far more than their brains. And these two strategic masterminds decide to create a woman. Not just any woman, a perfect one. Because really, what could possibly go wrong? We meet two 15-year-old dreamers, Gary and Wyatt. The boys crave fame, girls' attention, and the status of being the cool guys. Their panoramic dream unfolds right at the doors of the school aerobics room, where the very girls they want to live for are working out. But their romantic fantasies are abruptly shattered. Two school bullies, Ian and Max, sneak up behind them and yank down their shorts with mocking laughter. Humiliated and utterly crushed, the friends run away under the whistling of their classmates. A bit later, it turns out Wyatt's parents are out of town, so he invites Gary to spend the night. The evening drags on, and they settle in front of the TV. A classic horror film about the creation of Frankenstein's monster is playing. And that's when a crazy idea pops into Gary's head. What if they use Wyatt's new computer to model the perfect girl? Just to find out what the ideal man would have to be like to win women's hearts. And so, the real modeling begins. First, the bust, then the intelligence, all in the finest traditions of teenage stupidity. But Wyatt's computer clearly isn't designed to produce a digital Aphrodite, so the guys slightly boost its power. They hack into government servers and borrow their processing resources. To complete the ritual, they put bras on their heads, connect a mannequin to wires, and load into the system a collection of photos of top models and scientific geniuses. Maybe the result will be someone smart and beautiful. They expect nothing special, maybe a glitch on the screen at most. But suddenly, the house shakes, and a girl appears in the bathroom doorway. A real girl, alive, wearing the clothes of that very mannequin. The first thing the boys try to do is get into the shower with her. But they can't do anything except stare at her in absolute amazement. They decide to go out into the night city. They're wearing Chet's awful clothes, but the magic that created the girl transforms their outfits into elite suits. A moment ago, they were two guys in baggy clothes, and now they're riding in a pink Cadillac convertible like characters from a nighttime movie. On the way, the team gives the newborn digital goddess a name, Lisa. Why? Simply because they wanted to. Lisa explains that since they created her, she is now here to fulfill their wishes. They return early in the morning, staggering and barely alive. And that's where the party ends. Chet is waiting for them at home. He is boiling with rage and ready to erupt in a hurricane of domestic violence. But Wyatt manages to stop him with money. He promises to pay his brother $175 for his silence. "Did you tell that girl we created tonight?" mutters Gary, barely understanding what he's saying. They carry him to his room like a wounded soldier and put him to bed. Wyatt goes outside to look for Lisa. Of course, she's already waiting for him, hiding behind his back, ready to jump out and give him a mini heart attack. Lisa quickly understands what Wyatt wants and decides to teach him the basics of relationships. Lesson 1. Kissing. On the second try, the boy finally succeeds. In the morning, Gary and Wyatt wake up with a horrible hangover and think the whole night was just a weird dream. But Lisa calls them to breakfast, and it becomes clear everything was real. Wyatt discovers he's sleeping in Lisa's underwear. They manage to swap clothes in the brief chaos of the evening. In the kitchen, breakfast and pajama-clad Lisa wait for him. At that moment, Chet appears, wearing only a towel. Seeing the women's lingerie on his brother, he goes into a rage and threatens to tell their father everything. Later that day, Gary and Wyatt head to the mall to choose a perfume for Lisa. But their peace is ruined by Ian and Max, who dump milkshakes over their heads right in front of their girlfriends, Deb and Hilly. The girls are disappointed and even consider dumping their boyfriends. Ian and Max soon run into Lisa and can't take their eyes off her. They see Gary and Wyatt driving her away in a Porsche. Meanwhile, Lisa informs her friends that Wyatt is hosting a huge party that evening. Wyatt himself finds out last, but Lisa convinces him it's a chance to become popular. To make sure Gary comes to the party, Lisa visits his parents. The conversation quickly escalates into a shouting match, and Lisa is forced to threaten them with a toy gun. Otherwise, they simply won't let their son go. Later, it turns out the gun was filled with water. By evening, the boys expect a few friends, but instead, a crowd floods into the house. 100 teenagers. Everyone devours the snacks, drinks everything in sight, and the house descends into chaos. Among the guests are Deb and Hilly again. Gary and Wyatt hide in the bathroom, afraid to face the crowd. Meanwhile, Lisa tells Ian and Max that she only fulfills Gary and Wyatt's wishes. The bullies want to borrow Lisa, but learn that she was created by computer, so they decide to make one for themselves. While Max and Ian dream of their girl, Wyatt's grandparents decide to visit their grandson, thinking he's home alone. At that moment, Gary, Wyatt, Ian, and Max run the girl modeling program again. They all put bras on their heads, power up the computer, but forget to connect the mannequin. The system goes wild. Furniture shoots up the chimney, teenagers run across the ceiling, and instead of a girl, a Pershing missile materializes, an image the computer accidentally read from a magazine cover. It's in this chaos that the grandparents arrive. They see the insane party and want to call the police, but Lisa stops them. She gently locks them in a closet and forces them to appear calm and happy. Gary and Wyatt no longer know how to fix anything. So Lisa comes up with a moment of glory for them. She summons a gang of mutant bikers to the house. They smash inside, terrify the teenagers, and start destroying the furniture. The friends hide in the pantry in fear, but one of the bikers drags Wyatt out. The bikers start humiliating the boys in front of everyone. But when they seize Deb and Hilly, Gary and Wyatt finally grow a conscience. They step forward and demand that the gang leave. The bikers refuse, and Gary aims Lisa's water pistol at them, which looks completely real. The bikers panic and obediently leave the house. To prove to everyone the gun isn't real, Gary pulls the trigger. A deafening shot rings out. Everyone freezes. The toy water gun has somehow transformed into a real weapon and fired a real bullet. The next morning, Chet returns home. He's been hunting. He has a rifle and a wounded duck with him. Seeing the house in ruins, Chet explodes and goes looking for his brother. He peeks into one of the rooms and finds Gary asleep in the same bed with Deb, and realizes the night clearly got out of control. Chet finds Wyatt a bit further on, and Wyatt, exhausted and crushed, honestly tells him everything about Lisa, the party, the chaos. In the kitchen, Lisa calmly confirms his story. Yes, she was created on a computer, and yes, everything that happened was the result of her intervention. Chet is furious, shouting that he's not an idiot, demanding explanations. But then Lisa gently influences him, and he suddenly confesses his love to her. Meanwhile, Gary and Wyatt realize they now have real, attractive girlfriends and no longer need Lisa's help. They decide to tell her directly. Lisa is sad but accepts their decision. A moment later, she vanishes, literally dissolving into mist. As soon as she disappears, all the mess disappears with her. The house returns to normal, and Chet becomes an ordinary human again, without any magical oddities. And all this happens right as Wyatt's parents return. They see the tidy house and suspect nothing. But Lisa hasn't left forever. She appears again, in a new form. Now she is a PE teacher in the school gym, smiling at her students as she begins her new job. That's where the story ends. If you like summaries like this, leave a like and subscribe.